Hello and good morning. Thank you for joining us at the TM1 Smart Manufacturing Circuit 2020. The work from home, or should I now call the new normal, of a 9 to 5 have certainly altered our lifestyle. It has given me some window of freedom to flip a page or two in between meetings. And I stumbled upon this interesting article in the November 2nd issue of Time magazine, The Great Reset. Ian Bremmer, the Foreign Affairs columnist and editor-at-large at Time, wrote an article entitled Faster and More Dangerous. Ian touched on how the pandemic has decimated engines of the 20th century economies, the factories, the brick-and-mortar retail, to 21st century's turbocharging engines like IT and online retail. This left many companies with little choice but to invest in automation of the workplace, machine learning and AI. Quote, "The most innovative parts of our economies have suffered the least damage." Unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, in this circuit, you will discover the best approaches in maneuvering your business strategies and priorities. And we are exclusively inviting you to take this opportunity in understanding your business readiness in the digitalization maturity. Click on the TM1 Alpha H IDC UDX assessment at the bottom of your screen. The UDX is worth $5,000 and we are giving out complimentary to you for an absolutely short time only. Ladies and gentlemen, growth to expand into segments, driving operational performances, expanding customers' database, reducing operational and product cost, and lastly, innovate to stay competitive. These are somewhat familiar manufacturing strategic drivers, yet they are simply an uphill task to achieve. Let's hear from TM1, Huawei Malaysia and IDC ASEAN on some short to long-term priorities and implementations that best juggle between achieving strategic drivers, internal resources, and external forces. Maznan Deraman, the head of innovation at TM1, started his career 25 years ago. He has been heavily involved in transformation from R&D to network and data. He specializes in telco and ICT business solutions, including GTM strategy, business development, partnership management, product development, and sales planning. Presently, he's also the Chief Technology Officer of Telecom Applied Business Sdn Bhd. From Huawei Malaysia, we have Eng Chew Hian, the Business Development Director of Huawei Cloud Malaysia. With 19 years of experience, Eng has been in numerous fields of financial, ICT architecture and design, production solution, regional business consultants, and more. Lastly, from IDC, we have Sudev Banga, the Managing Director of IDC ASEAN. He directs the overall operations of the ASEAN offices, development, sales, consulting, as well as marketing, and works alongside local and global organizations' C-level executives in their aspiration in developing robust plans and strategies for both emerging countries. Over to you, gentlemen.
Hello everyone. Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Today we will be discussing, Sudev and also Eng, together with me, we'll be discussing on how we can bring forward the digital transformation in manufacturing sector. We will also discussing and give some example of use cases that we have done with our customer and also industry. And we will talk also in terms of the growth strategies, how we can, utilizing those innovation, the AI, the industrial best practices that can help the industry like you guys to start adopting the best practices. So let me start briefly talk about the innovation itself, and then Sudev will perhaps discussing more on the areas where industry value creation that can be identified, and then perhaps from there taken in terms of the strategy, how you can execute things. And then next, Eng will talk more on the industrial solution itself, Yes. How artificial intelligence, the industrial IoT, can transform the way we used to do things in the manufacturing sector, and then perhaps the collaboration with the right partners can bring you forward. So let me start with, the digital transformation in manufacturing itself. So there's many ways of how we can really put into the real implementation when we talk about digital transformation. But for industry like manufacturing, of course, we wanted to have more connected production, and then you wanted to also have a real insight on things that happening on your shop floor. So the real-time monitoring will be something that's important for your organization or your company. And then perhaps from the data points that we are collecting from the sensors that are connected to the machines, you can start seeing the patterns, and then you can predict what can you do in terms of improvement or activities or areas of things that you wanted to not only improve, to solve problems, and also to identify the growth areas. And then perhaps from those information that you are getting from your predictive analytics component, then you can start identifying how those intelligent solutions, the smart services, the IoT of the world, and perhaps the machine and also the cyber physical implementation to your shop floor can be implemented so that you can reap the benefit of having the full digitalization and automation of your industry. So this is super important, I would say, in terms of forming the foundation of your transformation journey. Next, of course, we are living in current situation where disruption is become norm in any type of industry, be it in the retail business, education, could be also in services sector, and I guess it's also happening for manufacturing. So gone were the days where we are happy with the current way of doing things. So we know a lot of challenges in terms of declining of sales. You need to improve the way how you can meet to the demand, and also in terms of the competition. You have to identify how to be ahead of your competitor, and claiming those spot, retaining those market positioning in very competitive market. And then definitely it involves in terms of innovation for your business. So identifying those innovations is very key to keep ahead against the competition, to improve in terms of your sales, adoption and whatnot. And then all of this will be part of the challenges that we need to address with the right tools, with the right budget, and of course, it will also involve in your bottom line objectives. So to address those challenges, digital transformation does give some ways of how to handle those challenges, and then to overcome those challenges, and then to start creating opportunities. Like things like improved supply chain, where previously we used to have a traditional supply chain. Now we are moving towards digital supply chain, where you can have the moment from you create the ideation of to start producing a new product, and identifying your key partners, identifying also the resources that you need to produce those products, and also in terms of the logistic partners, and addressing demands from your market. All these different stakeholders or components can now be digitally connected. And in terms of the operational excellence as well, we can use DX, digital transformation, to give better operation benefits and also implementation, because there's a lot of areas that we can improve in terms of the way we do things, like faster process to produce a new product, or you can also improve in terms of the whole cycle of delivering those products to your customer by identifying operational areas that you have to improve. And in terms of the risk, of course, the digital transformation also offer you the visibility in terms of areas that you will face in terms of the competitiveness, the things that you shouldn't do because it will involve wastage in terms of resources that you have. So this kind of information will help you in terms of managing the whole risk in your business. And we also know that digital transformation will bring a lot of innovation to the industry. So this will also bring you into the new era whereby we cannot live without innovating the way we do things. And we cannot live without having to identify how we can do better from yesterday and addressing those demands in the market. And we can always see the innovation will be part of the trust or the core support system that will be needed by all industries. And of course, by doing the right implementation strategy of your digital transformation, we can exploit new markets, new customer segments, new things that you can do with your business. Moving forward, in Malaysia, MITI has promoting the industry forward for all the manufacturing sector, whereby the vision in 10 years' time, we wanted to have more strategic partner that will collaborate with our manufacturing sectors so that we can develop more solutions, more products for the Asia-Pacific region. And we wanted to also be a country whereby Malaysia will be one of the primary destinations for high-tech industry. It's happening now, so we wanted to accelerate more. And the last vision will be how we can provide advanced technology for the industry sector like manufacturing so that we can do better in terms of market capitalization to increase your return of investment and improve in terms of the total quality of your products. So the goals will be, the growth in terms of labor productivity. In the previous years, perhaps more solutions or activities require labor-intensive activities, but with adoption of innovative solution in digital transformation, we can reskill our staff to do more, skillful job rather than doing labor-intensive activities. And then in terms of the economic contribution, we believe manufacturing sector still will be the leading sector to contribute to the GDP. So with innovation, innovative implementation, it can even accelerate it further and to become more sustainable in the long run. So the capacity of innovation also be part of the goals of Industry Forward to use innovation as the catalyst to create more opportunities. And definitely, we will look into also to produce more high-skilled jobs by innovating the way we do things. So I guess before we even begin or even start to talk about how we should implementing a right solution for your industry, we need to assess where we are now. So Industry Forward basically have the foundation to do the readiness assessment where you can work with industry players, those subject matter experts to identify the core elements which involve people, processes, and technology to bring forward the innovation in your company. And then secondly, from the business objective and also the deliverables that you wanted to achieve in your organization, there are 8 core thrusts that will help you to improve in terms of product management, supply chain, human capital, and also the asset intelligence. So that will be the foundation of the assessment criteria when you work with your partners, you work with your other subject matter expert to identify areas of improvement. And then, of course, the end state will be the benefits that you will gain or you will be enjoying from different areas. In the framework, they identified around 21 areas where you can improve the way you do things when you are adopting the right solution or the right innovation in your company. I think I need to pass to Sudev to talk more on how the organization themselves can identify the role that they have to do, the phases of innovation or digitalization journey, and perhaps also area of growth with the industry's use cases or some insights that you can share. Over to you, Sudev.
Thank you very much, Mazlan, and a very good setting, I think, at the start for everyone, and a very good morning. I think an interesting observation that we have from IDC at this point in time is that although a lot of us are operating in somewhat challenging times at this moment, however, we are privileged that technology is there to help us through a lot of this challenge. And I think you have exemplified that very well in the earlier part of your presentation. And I think when we started looking at how manufacturers such as you have been going through the curve in economic recovery as well as operational recovery, the notion of resiliency was #1 priority for all of you. While cost optimization was, of course, at the back end of your thinking, however, building towards that business resiliency and an extremely formidable organization moving forward was very critical for a lot of manufacturers that we spoke to. So if you look at that curve right in front of you right now, and just alluding to Circuit 1, if you attended Circuit 1 as well, you remember IDC as well as TM and Huawei, what we talked about was how organizations need to look forward and not just to plug the gap in your challenges at this moment in time. However, it's going to be extremely critical for you to look at strategic priorities on how technology can enable and assist you moving forward. So looking at this curve, what we're seeing now, the shift of manufacturers from an Asia-Pacific level at this point, which is trickling down to what we see in Malaysia as well, is moving towards what is called targeted investments. Now, targeted investments in our lexicon, when we talk about it, the very typical technology areas of AI, robotics, cloud, for example, machine learning, these are the very typical areas that pop up, IoT, of course, as well. However, how do you utilize that within your manufacturing base? How do you use that within your operations is going to be key. Over the past 2 months, what IDC has analyzed and realized as well in Asia Pacific down to Southeast Asia and Malaysia is that you sitting over there are starting to realize the importance of building to that use case in your operations in order to implement towards a strategic priority. So no longer is it a little bit of that archaic way of trying to plug a gap. However, you're moving through that curve to say that, what are my strategic priorities at this moment in time? How do I benefit from technology in helping towards my strategic priority in order to build towards that future enterprise or resilient operations as a manufacturer? So when we talk about the future of operations, of course, the future of operations for us, when we encapsulate this, it ties very much into even the ideals of industry forward in Malaysia. How does manufacturing uptick its contribution towards the GDP? How does manufacturing continue to put people to work, however, create more efficiency and productivity in these trying times as well? How do you converge between IT and OT at this point, at this juncture, in order for your operations to continue to produce that amount that you require, even though you may have to scale down in terms of the number of people in your plant at this moment, given the trying times? So these are all the questions that if you're sitting there and asking yourself, these are the same questions globally that a Maserati, a Ferrari, a Mitsubishi, a Tata Steel, these are the exact same questions they have been asking themselves. Now, they took a step further over 2018, 2019. A lot of large, heavy industries have started to move towards technology and the convergence of IT, OT, of course. They've started to look at instrumentation, their infrastructure, integration, as well as insight, as you can see on that slide. But the pull-through on IT, the very important component to understand here is around data and understanding your operations and optimizing your operations to a point where that convergence is going to help to that strategic priority. So you talk about personalization maybe from a consumer angle. However, you're going to talk about personalization even from the operations within your manufacturing plant or organization or base. So when you think around the focus of digital, I think it's very critical for you sitting out there to question yourself as to what these strategic priorities are going to help, what data should you be pulling in, and how then do you use technology to that benefit of being able to churn out those insights or those analytics that you require within your organization at this point in time. So when we look at the 4 value chains of manufacturing, now how IDC has encapsulated it or how we have broken it up or segmented it is to say that each of these subsectors of manufacturing would have very differing manners of how you utilize technology. In the audience today, for your benefit again, as we understand a lot of you are within the heavy industry space, we look at you in able to drive sustainability within your organization as well. And we have seen proof right now over the past 2-3 years when we've been analyzing digital transformation initiatives in heavy industries, that the drive around sustainability has actually yielded a very good amount of profit and revenue increase. Now, that's very exciting for us, and we truly hope that's exciting for you as well. Because when we started analyzing a lot of the financial statements, we started to look at these digital transformation initiatives, and you can see how that maps out to those strategic priorities of what we call EOVCs, engineering-oriented value chain organizations in manufacturing. You can see areas of quality, compliance, ecosystem coordination, which is very critical, sourcing, intelligence around sourcing. How do you then optimize your supply chains or digital supply chains? How do you move into life cycle analytics? Again, pulling that data, creating digital twins in order to save not just on cost, but also on time in productization. So, you can see a lot of those use cases out there by large auto manufacturers, aerospace, defense, how they've utilized digital twins to the maximum for them to be able to then produce in a very efficient manner. We feel that these strategic priorities are what's going to help to drive you to that next level. So again, if you're sitting there and saying that this technology thing is going to be critical for me, however, I'm sitting now in between that investment around technology, the type of technology, but also running my operations and building resiliency, we feel that the strategic priorities that you develop rather than plugging the gaps is going to be very critical for you in the next level of adoption. And as I alluded to just now, and this is a statistic that we came up in a study by the end of 2019, and we're seeing that this trend is continuing into 2020. We should have the updated study of 2020 by very soon. In fact, it's already the end of the year. But you can see the uptick of a digital engineering-oriented value chain manufacturer in terms of their revenue as well as profit. Again, a lot of this was driven by efficiency, time-saving, sustainability programs that they've implemented to help them to drive towards this profitability. They were able, in fact, at this point in time, continue a lot of their operations because of the technology implementation and all the IT-OT convergence exercises that they conducted over the past 6 to 8 months in order for them to stave off the pandemic and continue their operations to a certain level. So this digital impact in providing you a higher top line and further improving bottom line is very apparent, and it is very true. And this is why we are extremely excited around it. And if we were to draw in terms of solutions for you, and you can take a look at this slide and realize how we have split this out to horizons. We're going to allude back to what we mentioned in Circuit 1. If you attended that IDC, we were talking about having to break your technology implementation into horizons, having to ensure that you know what to address now, what to address in the near future, and of course then what is going to sustain your environment and sustain the resiliency of your environment as well. So if you look into these horizons, you can see some typical technology implementation that you would be considering as well. But notice the little highlighted in green boxes around these honeycombs. And what we've seen, how the pandemic and COVID-19 has helped to accelerate digital transformation, as Maznan very nicely put it at the start. The acceleration of digital transformation has now caused a lot of manufacturers to rethink the type of technology implementation in the near term. Now, what we've given you here is essentially a little bit of a roadmap for you to consider, change, or tweak your playbook into 2021 when you consider technology adoption. We still feel a lot of the ideals of analytics, machine learning, eventual predictive maintenance, cloud-based platforms, innovation, and convergence around IoT or IIoT for that matter, that is going to help drive industries such as yours to the next level. If you look at horizon number 1, this is what we are suggesting to activate immediately. You have to look at your supply chain. Digitalizing of supply chains over the past 3 to 4 months is one of the most critical areas that we cannot emphasize more. You know that as an individual within your own sector, we have recognized that as well, and we cannot expound more on how critical that is going to be for you. Now, the next level of it, we're talking about sourcing intelligence. And we like sourcing intelligence because we've seen that grow into profitable areas for manufacturers. Now, holistically looking at your supply chain, holistically looking at your sourcing method around the logistics of it, we have seen has helped organizations such as yours to take it to the next level. So we've seen manufacturers really capitalize on that to be able to source to a new point of efficiency, growth, and profitability. So we're very excited around that point. And right now, I guess, to expound more on some solutions and business models, case studies, to give you a little bit of a tangible view on this, I'll hand it over back to Mazdan, who will take you through some of that.
Thanks, Sudev. Very interesting insights that IDC have, do the research and also findings around the world, globally, and also in context in Malaysia. So I think we are ready to embark on those journey. So let me go through. I will talk a bit on some solutions that TM1 has currently to help industry like you guys out there. And perhaps Eng will go through also some use cases that Huawei themselves have embarked and then also help other industrial sectors. So to start with, I guess Sudev just mentioned about the Horizon 1, the immediate action that industry can start, do things that to realize those benefits. So I guess the first part, I think we need to understand every manufacturing sector, I guess every business for that matter, wanted to optimize or maximize in terms of the efficiency, effectiveness, and also the performance of your industry. So to do that, to ensure that you are perform above standard or to maintain those performance at a certain expected level, we have to understand the overall efficiency of our operation. So there's one solution that probably you can consider to start implementing in your company or in your organization if you haven't do so, is by implementing the overall equipment effectiveness. What OEE, in short, will do the measuring is in terms of the availability of your production line. So we know that in certain operation, environment, you will do the production like 8 hours, or if you have like 2 shifts, you will extend it up to 16 hours. So there will be time where you have like scheduled maintenance or scheduled shutdown. So you need to optimize those productive hours to produce good things. So we will measure in terms of the availability of the production time. The second component in OEE is where we measure in terms of the performance. What would be the speed to produce a product? So whenever you have like faulty machines, things like wear or ineffectiveness in the production machinery, so you will affect in terms of your throughput or the performance. So this is an area whereby OEE can detect and identify ineffectiveness in terms of your production activity so that you can maximize in terms of speed to produce goods. The third component that we measure in OEE is in terms of the quality. So we wanted to reduce in terms of defects, to rework on things that are not perfect. So by having total visibility in terms of the quality of the product that you produce, so this will eliminate those wastage and improving in terms of the overall return of investment. So OEE will give you a good visibility in terms of how you can maximize the investment that you have, the resources that you have, and also the outcome that you will be getting. So, of course, we will do this together with you to walk you through how you should implement this correctly and then start realizing the benefits of OEE. And then, of course, we also have our digital infrastructure to support all your industry needs. We have connectivity solutions that can link up all your industry sections, branches, facilities, be it fixed connectivity, wireless, and also hybrid solutions. And then on top of this connectivity, we have data center infrastructure, cloud, and also cybersecurity to safeguard all your digital assets. Because of the trend nowadays, we can't have all information or system run on-premise. Because we know for the fact that on-premise solution does have some risk. For instance, if there's certain incidents happening, then you don't have a proper disaster recovery facility, so the whole operation that relies on your system will be impacted. So this is where we have all the infrastructure to support industrial needs or industrial solutions to build on top the specific use case for your company. Then definitely, on top of this digital infrastructure, we have a vertical application or vertical solution for the industry, coming from the smart city, smart home, smart premise, smart industry solution, and also other vertical solution in education, healthcare, agriculture, and whatnot. And last but not least, of course, the digital services, the AI, the IoT, the robotic process automation, the application-centric solutions that we can also build on top of the infrastructure. So I guess Eng will share more on the industry solutions that Huawei and also TM has identified that we can also work with you. So the example will be elaborated further with by Eng. Over to you, Eng.
Thank you, Mazlan. Thank you, Sudeep. I am looking into the previous section. I think Sudeep and Mazlan did share that what are the challenges, and then what are the research of the currently people are facing, and then in terms of the solutioning, a lot of industry is still seeking how they can make this better in terms of during this pandemic. So what Huawei Cloud, this Alpha Edge high-level frameworks that have is, well, we define it very clearly. What we do is basically provide network connections, edge computing, trusted infrastructures, industrial platforms, and also gathering our eco-partner system to provide the solution as to match the industrial needs. So what we do not do is, we do not build industrial applications because we leverage on the industrial experts to provide the solution to the needs. We do not provide the industrial equipment because we let the equipment to tailor-made for the industrial needs due to the demand. And also we do not touch the data due to the privacy of the production line. That's why we do not touch any information or taking out any information up from the industrial, from the IoT platform. So from here you can see that we have a platform layer, we have trusted infrastructure with a network layer that conduct with leverage on NB-IoT, ELTE, LTV, and also 5Gs, as everyone is talking about the 5G. And also on the edge layer today, we are not only just providing the cloud infrastructure, not just connectivity, also we provide the chipset and also the edge AI for certain areas that they have a very weak on connectivity due to high noise. So we have the edge computing to leverage on this industry with the AI to support the industry moving forward. So these are the certain case study which has been using the AI to discover. This is one of the use cases leveraged on 5G plus AI using appearance detection in a way we call object detections. When this flight landed on the ground, they have a limit of time they must need to take off. But usually to do the checking, they take a lot of time, but we do not have this kind of luxury. So what they do, they use drone. Okay. So what drone we're basically doing is through the internet with the 5G connectivity, with the 4K camera attached to the drone. Today the drone can fly through the plane objects by detecting by the plane modeling to search for scratch, dents, corrosions, paid off, electrostatics, absorptions, loosen screw. This is actually part of the security safety for the plane. But today we make it even more deep is we use AI to do a scanning with a limited time it does. This is one of the drone case by using AI. This is another case study on the material inspection on the AI image analysis. So this actually is a wing of the flight. Normally we do welding, we do punchings, but we never know are they attached, are they strong enough. So we hit multiple of nuts inside it. Through this kind of thermal sensor or X-ray sensor scan through the metal detections, they're able to tell you is there any gap in between or any air in between. This is to ensure there's any impact while flying, vibrations. This can be cause of accidents. So we use AI to make things more safer. This is a technology that people start adopting. And the other one is actually pretty much is our mobile phone today. Naked eye, you cannot detect the force of the detection. Some of the time on mission of inspection, we use AI to do it, to make sure that the component is in the right positions. There's not any missing components. These are the few cases today that we are looking at, and hopefully AI, really not just replacing the human, but actually increasing the efficiency, safety, and then also the saving of the power and time as well. And then this is the way we move on with the technology today plus cloud plus AI, plus edge computing, and then we make the better life moving forward for everyone. Moving forward, I would like to pass it to Maslan.
Okay. I guess, thank you, Eng, to illustrate some of useful use cases, perhaps to stitch back with the ideas or insights that Sudev had just shared just now, how we can really realize those strategies into implementation, adopting right strategy during the pandemic era now. This has become more sensible for any organization to start doing it.
Yep.
So I guess the way forward, definitely we as partners, collaborative partners, will bring this to Malaysian market, to industry players. We have readily available cloud infrastructure in country to safeguard all the concern about the data residency. So we have the facility here. Then we also have the state-of-the-art facility, the security, the cloud expert, and also industry solutions. That's the most important part. And I guess to summarize, as a key takeaways from TM1 ourselves, we will keep on pursuing and helping industry players to identify and to realize your strategy to identify the growth area that you can really look into taking the advantage of the current situation. At the same time, to keep on sustain in terms of the long-term survivability of your business. And perhaps we can talk more to understand better how we can do this together, together with our partners like Huawei. I guess the last point that I wanted to make is that don't wait until you really feel that this is the only time that you have to make or take action, but rather start doing it now, because there are few horizons, like Sudev just shared just now, that you can immediately realize those implementation today. And then, of course, for those medium term and long term, you can start refining those areas and identifying right solution. So perhaps, Sudev, you wanted to share some key takeaways?
Definitely. So I think a very critical key takeaway, and I think it's mentioned by both of you here. Number one, ultimately, technology is supposed to complement you. I think that's a very important point to get across. The complementing element is supposed to enable your business to reach to a new level. And that is where the setting of those strategic priorities is going to be extremely paramount for you to enable yourself to reach there. But again, when you embark on this journey, I do believe a very strong point is for you to find a partner who is going to help you through that journey as well. And that partner, and on your side, I think what is going to be extremely important for you is to not have the fear of re-looking and reassessing where you are today in your digital transformation. I think that is very critical. You would want to work with a partner who can come in with elements of business consultancy, IT consultancy, who can help enable you forward. They will take stock of what you have and they will understand how to integrate this. They're not going to rip and replace everything for you. I'm quite sure of that. They wouldn't want to do it as well because it will be a formidable task for them as well. But they would come in and provide that advisory for you in order to take that step forward 2021 and beyond. And I think that is going to be a very critical key takeaway, even if you look at the horizons. If you look at this chart right now and you talk about the different areas that you have to improve upon, how AI is going to enable your organization, you as a manufacturer, I think take that step, reassess, and then plow ahead with your journey.
I guess before we end the session, don't forget to register for UDX. That's, I think, important tools to pre-diagnose areas that you can improve, areas that you wanted to start implementing innovative solutions, or also other things that you wanted us as partners to help you around those identified areas. So don't forget, register UDX. And then I think that's about it, Sudev and Eng.
Yep.
Thank you for coming along and discussing about how we can bring forward or help our industry players out there to realize their digital strategy, digital transformation strategy in terms of realize bottom line business objective.
Yep.
So thank you again, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sudev.
That was absolutely insightful. Thank you so much. The manufacturer's honeycomb and its priorities were surely an eye-opener. The breakdown would help organizations to better plan its digital roadmap. Next up, let's hear from SME Bank on some technology grants available out there. Atilia, please show us what you have in store.
Assalamualaikum and good day to everyone. I'm Atilia Razali from SEDA, a subsidiary under SME Bank. Established in 2013, SEDA aspires to be the center of excellence for entrepreneur development and transformation. SEDA plays the developmental role for SME Bank. You may get in touch with SEDA for coaching, function-based facilitation, and entrepreneur-focused mentoring. SEDA also offers digital products like Odella Digital Platform and Score Access, which offers a seamless experience for your business. I will be sharing with you on SME Technology Transformation Fund, or also known as STTF. I'm sure all of you are looking forward to know more about STTF. STTF is a government's economic stimulus package in the form of financial assistance. STTF is provided to SMEs like yourself to adopt digitalization and automation in your business operations. STTF is open to all SMEs in the services and manufacturing sectors like yourself. The financing offers a profit rate fixed at 4% per annum. STTF financing can be used for purchasing of equipment or machinery, computer hardware and software, IT solutions and services, technology support services, and other related assets which would help your business. The financing amount will be ranging from 100,000 ringgit up to 3 million ringgit with a tenure up to 10 years. To apply, your business must be registered with SSM, shareholding by PLCs or GLCs not exceeding 20%, at least 51% of shares held by Malaysian citizens, minimum 2 years in operations, financially solvent and not involved in any legal action under the Malaysian law. SMEs are required to submit a photocopy of IC and valid business registration, certified secretarial documents, certified true copy of latest 6 months bank statements, and other documents required by the bank. That wraps up our presentation on STTF Fund. To apply, you can visit my SME Bank or walk to our nearest branch. Call us and make an appointment today. Thank you and stay safe.
Thank you for the crisp info. Next up, we have PROTON, an extremely familiar brand amongst we Malaysians. They are here to share their implementations of digitalization. We have Yusri Yusof, the Senior Director of Corporate Strategy and Risk Management for PROTON. Yusri leads the development of the company's business plan and long-term strategy, including coordination with the respective stakeholders and alignment to various policies. He has served the company in various roles including product planning, system development, branding, marketing, public relations, corporate communications, and international business. His experience spans across several transformation programs in PROTON. Hazrin Fazil Harun is the Director of Research and Development for PROTON. His vast experience in automotive industry, spearheading research and development programs on various PROTON vehicles and powertrain. He is highly recognized in the areas of product planning, engineering design, testing, homologation, and product management. Hazrin has also served Lotus Cars UK for development of Lotus Evora 400 and other vehicle engineering programs during his tenure with the globally renowned organization. With his reputable credentials, knowledge, and experience, he has represented PROTON in various local and international assignments. This panel discussion will be moderated by our fellow technology experts, Mazlan Deraman, Head of Innovation of TM1, and Eng Chew Hian, the Business Development Director of Huawei Cloud Malaysia. All right, over to you, Mazlan.
Welcome back. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. This is the next session that we will be discussing with our panelists on how digital transformation have been used and then utilized in an organization in a heavy industry. And then today, together with me, Eng from Huawei, Encik Yusri Yusof from PROTON, and also Encik Hazrin, also from PROTON, but these two gentlemen have different portfolio. But I don't want to elaborate further what they will share. So today what we're going to do, we are going to discuss about the real implementation. This is one of the home-breed national industrial player that bring pride to the nation. So I read through a bit of history of PROTON. They started their journey from 1983, so it's already around 37 years. And then they have embarked in a lot of transformation activities. So today we will talk more on how PROTON has successfully implementing those innovation, transformation strategy to be what is PROTON today. So before we begin, I think I would love to listen a bit of introduction by Encik Yusri and perhaps Encik Hazrin to talk us through what are you doing or things that you are planning to do, and then a bit of introduction what PROTON have been involved in current situation. Over to you, Encik Yusri.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we move forward to the technology part, what I would like to inform things that you may already know. PROTON was actually initiated from a concept in 1979. That was when the feasibility study on the Malaysia manufactured car was initiated. The company PROTON was incorporated in 1983, and subsequently we launched the first model in 1985, the PROTON Saga. Now, PROTON as an organization, we are guided by three national aspirations. That's how we started, to spearhead the automotive industrialization process, to acquire and upgrade the technology and industrial skills within the automotive industry. And number three is to bring up, to escalate our international competitiveness in terms of industrial capability. This is important for us to contribute directly to the nation. So until today, after 37 years of incorporation, we have introduced about 28 models, excluding all the facelifts, and have sold about 4.5 million cars worldwide. Not too great, but not too bad for a company of this size in this industry in Malaysia. Now, what we have done so far, we have progressively pursued all the what we call the full automotive value chain. And this is where our shareholders today, DRB, Highcom and Geely, when they concluded the partnership in September 2017, the aim is to improve the competitiveness of the company and also to achieve a sustainable growth, especially in the areas of technology expansion. This is important for us to look at. This year, we started well. From last year, we achieved about 55 growth, while the industry actually grew about 1% or less than that. We have been able to regain the second position in terms of the sales ranking, and more importantly, the confidence by the people has returned to PROTON. This is where in our study, we were recommended the highest in terms of brand preference. What has actually put us on this track of progress is mainly the introduction of the X70 in 2018, where this is deemed as a technology landmark, how we have actually escalated the level of technology into the industry or the mass market. We see that the X70 has been able to infuse the market confidence. It has actually enabled us to leapfrog in terms of the competitive advantage, and it has actually becoming the impetus for Proton brand turnaround. This is where the technology has been inherited in all the other current models, and the latest introduction of the Proton X50 has further strengthened or reinforced our position in terms of the technology infusion and also in terms of getting the traction from the market. This is important because we believe that the trust on national brand must be strengthened, and the way forward is mainly on technology, and the technology must be felt in a bigger scope by the market. But in the case of Proton over these years, what we have done from the beginning, of course, when we started, we started with a basic technology, as and when it is required by the market. But when we expanded, we started to introduce, for example, the Lotus drivability. It is always known as handling by Lotus. That was in 1990s. Then we started to put in our own development in platform and engine, and then we further expand the engine technology forward. And in 2012, 2013, we started to reinforce the safety measures into our consumers. That's when we started to implement or making sure that all our models are rated 5-star in terms of ASEAN NCAP safety rating. Now, moving into the new chapter, we need to further expand our technology offering to the market. This is where the new shareholder, Geely, has brought in what they call Geely Intech structure. The Geely Intech structure actually coming in with an overarching technology structure that covers what I call the efficient power through the engine, the safety design, which cover not only passive and active safety, but also bringing in the cognitive or predictive safety into the system. The intelligent driving has been expanded to the wider group, and the smart connectivity. This is one of the very important areas that correlate to the communication between the driver and also the vehicle, and the vehicle to the other devices. So this is one new features that we have introduced. And of course, the environmental aspect must be conserved in our offering. So this is how the progress of the company.
Good.
And it will never stop here. We will continue to pursue all the R&D activities on how much more we can offer to the consumers.
Great. So talking about R&D, we bring to you the man of the day, the R&D guy.
Thank you.
So perhaps, Cik Hazrin, you wanted to introduce a bit of yourself and then what you are doing in your day-to-day activities in Proton, and something that I think will inspire those audience out there that could be in automotive industry, how Proton has embarked on the R&D journey. Over to you.
Thank you, Mazlan. My name is Hazrin. I'm a head of R&D in Proton. Basically, my job is all about focusing on this product development, ensuring the cost and quality enhancements of the products. Product development contains of many factors, Mazlan. In short, we are creating a product to give, in principle, our customer the convenience and also comfort. So these are our two key factors that we always start when we develop our products or programs. But today, we are in the different era of development. Previous years, the developments is a bit more analog, and also it would take back 4.5 to 5 years to develop a car, not including the engine. But with the current environments today, when the customer demands getting more instant gratifications, they would like to see new things faster. So the landscape of the customers has changed, and also the demand also changed from day to day. But the more important thing is that the environments of this global pandemic has really changed our game in terms of product development. Plus the global competitions where all the OEMs now is migrating from Europe and also from China towards ASEAN market, because ASEAN is going to be the next growth market in this region. Plus the customer requirements, criticalness, because today with all the informations within your fingertips, customer will be able to see and understand and compare all products in between with their fingertips in the in the internet, and they will be able to see and decide which products they would like to purchase or which product they would like to have. So because of these environments and conditions, it become more challenging to us when we develop our products. So therefore, we in Protons has also used the digital transformations opportunity to accelerate our process of development, right from product design all the way to prototyping, product validations, manufacturings, and all the ways up to after sales and services. With all these digital transformations, this will enhance and enable us to expedite our development process and able to contain the customer requirements with the right cost and with the right quality. I would like to just focus on the key digital transformations in the Proton R&D, especially before we cut the tools on all the new parts that we develop. Today, the usage of our CAE, computer-aided engineering usage, is now growing from problem solving towards optimizations where our engineers are now able to create their own patch programs, as well as have a standard script, because we will do a lot of repetitive processes and programs on the developments of the components and systems, towards now focusing on the core engineering know-how. So we are now creating our own programs to create our niche development processes. This is actually to accelerate the development process. So the concept is to eliminate mistakes, eliminate wastage before we create the actual parts. So these digitalizations or these digital transformations has really accelerate the process of the development of a car. So our digital transformations on the products or the R&D of the products also enhance not just on the calculations, not on just computer-aided engineering. We are now going towards optimizing the cloud computing, when we handle big data and we can get solutions within a shorter time. Previously, when we do some simulations, it takes us about 2 weeks to 3 weeks sometimes to get the result. But today, with the HPC and this cloud computing, we are able to get the result within, in the matter of 3 days. So you can imagine the speed and the accuracy of the works that we are able to deliver to ensure that the products that we develop meeting the right specifications and the right quality level. Also, over and above that, we are able to produce a prototype, or we call it rapid prototyping via this 3D printer. So this will accelerate or enhance the visuals confirmations, as well as actual confirmations or validations before we cut the actual tools. So this will eliminate waste and eliminate the extra costs that we have to pay if there is mistakes in terms of design. Now, CAE Advancement in Proton is something that we would like, personally I'm proud of. We have a very strong team in our Proton R&D. So we have various field of expertise, but this particular group is the so-called advanced preloading that helps the other engineers to do simulations, hence support them to expedite the design and developments of the products. So we are basically, when we start this digitalization from 1995, even though Proton start earlier in 1985, but Proton start with the manufacturing processes. So the R&D came in 1995, where we start all these developments of our own products, our own platforms, as well as our own engine. So the usage of this CAE become more important from 1995 to 2010, where we start to do all this analysis and simulations on the crash, NVH, and also some dynamics. So we move from that simulations to our own programs developments, our own patch programs, our own niche programs to further enhance our work. And moving forward, we are looking into this software in the loops, hardware in the loop. So these are all enablers to support our engineers in making or developing or designing products in a faster way.
Yeah, just to check on us around, what will be the, in terms of all the parts that you just mentioned and the design, as I'm aware, because I also Proton fans since 20 years ago, my dad have one for me, that I kept it. Those parts actually, previously we were also engaged that they actually are local supply. But what will be the new when X50 comes into the picture of future? What will be the ecosystem of the supply chain in terms of parts in Malaysia that you're expecting by moving towards the Industrial 4 that you are focusing now?
Yes, thank you. Actually, it's not just for Proton. So our role now is to expand this capability to our ecosystem. Because if you're just alone and you are the only one able to do all this, smart development way, whereas your partners, your business partners are not able to support this process, so you will have an issue. So what we do now, we would also like to expand this capability to our ecosystems, our suppliers, so that their engineers are able to be, conduct their own research and developments, and they're able to, build up their competency. And hence, our dream is also to see our suppliers become the world-class, suppliers, not just to Proton, but perhaps one day to Mercedes-Benz, BMW, so that everyone will be proud of. They just don't supply in Malaysia, but they can also export out to overseas or any other countries outside the world. So in order to do that, the knowledge is key, and also they should be able to focus in the R&D competency, build the people, and also they optimize the technologies that we are able to share, and also and build their own products, design their own products, and because component is more simple than a car. So if you are able to create your own parts and component which is more valuable, so I believe any OEMs will be interested to engage with the component supplier, and hence you are able to go out, export out to the whole world. If you look at China today, all their suppliers are able to become a global suppliers.
Yeah.
So we would like to optimize on this opportunity to build our ecosystem as well.
At least we can fully picture as Buatan Malaysia for the X40, right? Thank you so much.
Coming back to you, Encik Yusri, I guess Encik Hazrin spoke more on the CAE itself, and then how actually the transformation from industry forward that bring a lot of results, positive benefits to Proton, even though you have started it a bit later in 1995. But I believe there's also a people, technology, and process transformation that you as the senior director of corporate strategy and risk. How do you assess those elements, people, technology, and also the processes to embark into successful digital transformation?
I think everybody will put the highest aim possible.
Yeah.
For example, in any football team, everybody wants to win the World Cup. And in order to win the World Cup, in order to be the number one in the industry, we need to have two key aspects.
Yep.
The enablers and the material. In this case, the technology that we need to bring in is indeed the enablers. This is where the Industry 4.0 and also the initiative that was put in by OEMs and also by the government. It's important to become the impetus for the OEMs to push through or for the companies to push through. But the material must be aligned to the technology that is required for us to push through. This is where the human capital side, especially in PROTON, not limited to PROTON, but also to the ecosystem that is running in, because PROTON as a company and the ecosystem must work hand in hand on the same pace for us to push through. This is where Encik Hazrin has actually led the team to work closely with the government. I let him to explain what are the initiatives that he has met with the government. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Yusri. Cik Mazlan, I think Aznan, sorry.
Maznan.
Mazlan.
Yeah.
I think we have one good, I would say, fantastic initiative that we, PROTON, working with MITI and MARI, by establishing this MARSEC. MARSEC is a small center in Cyberjaya. It's our CAE Simulations and Analysis Center. So we established these collaborations with MARI, with the support of the governments of Malaysia, to establish this center to enable our suppliers, the engineers from our suppliers, to come over and train themselves on these CAE competencies. So this is the first step. So when they are competent to become a CAE engineers, so then they will be able to start, bring this knowledge back to their company and start to develop their own components and systems, optimizing this CAE analysis. So hence they are able to minimize the cost and expedite or accelerate their development process to meet the good quality and high standards products. At the same time, we also have long visions of this center, and we hope eventually this center will grow. It can become one day as an institute that can also give certifications to not just our suppliers, but the whole communities of university students or lecturers who wants to enhance, or PhD students who would like to do their research on this software developments or calculations of all. It's all about creating value into this software programs and enhance the product developments and eventually enhance the quality of life of our people. So this is our first steps. So if you can go to the next level, that our MITI and MARI initiative is also creating NAMTEC, or the additive manufacturing. These are the so-called supportive initiative that can support from the simulations towards realizations of a product. This is what I mentioned, the rapid prototyping or the 3D printer, that when you do your analysis, when you do your quick design, you can print out and do physical analysis. So not just calculations, but you can also prove it on the physical level in the faster manner. So this will further enhance the quality of the product. The outcome of the product will be more, solid. So this will give the cost balance of the cost and the quality of the products into a different level. So I think this is our dream. We would like to see this grow, and it becomes one day, for all you know, a digital institute of the country.
Yeah, so sorry, Anja, just want to check with you, doing this kind of progress, during the expectation of what you just mentioned, doing this journey, do you feel any challenge on this portion?
Well, from my point of view, the challenge is all about people. Human capitals and technology has to work hands in hands. A lot of us, meaning we put less, attentions to people's development. So before you develop a product, you need to develop the people.
Okay.
So this is key, and I believe with this initiative, I think I believe that we will be able to create more, how I say, the people that are able to be high quality engineers or workers that will be able to create new way of creating products. If you can add.
Yeah, and the key thing is the collaboration and the synergy that we need to work on among the key stakeholders here. The technology is important, the people is important, and number 3 is the policy makers. In this case, MITI, Mari, and MIDA. We work very closely with them to understand what are the areas of emphasis that we need to work on, what will be the platform that can be made available, and how are we going to pursue all these initiatives together for the future.
Yeah.
This is very important, the way we look at it.
I think I wanted to also know about other challenges. Perhaps when we wanted to implement digital transformation, innovation, there will be a cost element, I believe, and also some skepticism in terms of how good does the implementation would benefit back to the organization. How do you see in terms of the partnership with strategic partners like perhaps DM, OSAF, and also Huawei, that promoting the use of advanced technology over the cloud that will also benefit back to the strategy that you put in for PROTON?
I think the key thing is we need to understand our situation. What's the problem statement? And understanding the problem statement will bring us to the level of what we want to achieve. So in the case of PROTON today, we know that over the last 37 years, as the pioneer establishment in the automotive industry in the country, we put in a lot of the conventional processes and how are we going to ensure the ability to develop and produce cars. But moving forward, under the new partnership in PROTON between the RB HiCom and Geely, we are now in what I call a new venture of global and advanced technologies. This is where we need to upsurge the infusion of the new technologies, and at the same time, we want to strengthen the interdependency involving PROTON as the OEMs, the ecosystem as the enablers in the industry, and also the government of Malaysia as a policymaker. How are we going to grow the company? That's PROTON's role. And how are we going to grow the industry? So that is the policymaker role. And when we look into what we have done over the last 3 years, we have put in the X70 into the market as a technology landmark. We have inherited these new technologies into our current models. Then we started to expand our manufacturing plant, and we introduced more new models. That's how we are working on. And moving forward, we shouldn't stop here. This is where we need to pursue further on introducing more and more advanced technologies. And more importantly, we need to manage our product life cycle effectively in line with the consumer requirements and in line with the preferences in the market. Then we will be able to bring the company, bring the brand abroad in a more significant way. The exports are key. The local ecosystem compatibility and competitiveness will be key, and also the continuous R&D programs that will be important for us to pursue all the support system moving forward for the future. That's how we look at it.
Okay, great. Perhaps from Eng, Huawei, what do you see how we should help PROTON and other automotive industry out there to really build innovative, competitive ecosystem? Where I believe you have a lot of AI platform that Huawei has developed that can also being implemented here.
There are a few areas in Huawei we did, especially in China. We actually work closely with the manufacturing car in China as well, doing some prototyping, working together with other car branding as well. We are looking into more towards about the safety of the car driving on the road, mainly leverage on the 5G technology, which may actually, we're talking about Internet of Vehicles, we are talking about Vehicle to X. So this type of technology, we also wanted to incubate it together, work together with PROTON here, with the next new generation PROTON version, which I do not know yet. that the car actually able to talk to each other. They're able to do a predictive of a next traffic light coming soon. They're able to predictive of what will be the traffic congestion together with our smart traffic. Integrate this kind of information that storing in the cloud into the Proton car that is integrated as well. So we wanted to move into this, how we not only increase the safety of the car, but also increase the efficiency of the car driving on the road as well. That we call it energy saving, one of it as well. That is one of it. The other one also, I'm looking into the, I think requirements was where there people, the most challenging part is the people is from Huawei perspective, you look into the Huawei academic, is it possible to work with the university together with Protons in terms of the knowledge of what would be the next generation car that they would like, set up with a project together with the students. So when let the students, university, PhD, taking the PhD course or master course, have an early adoption about the knowledge of automation in Malaysia. Then at least we can able to say that this is our designer by Malaysians, things like that, moving on. So we are moving into using technology to help them do some simulation tests, design, and then also about, not only about the tech part, but also into art. How you're able to do aerodynamics, the engineering, and also the car design to be more futuristic car. So most of the brands that are looking in the market about the futuristic car, future car, electric car, but because of that, we all want to adopt that as well. I think Yurin also mentioned about the market today in ASEAN is a large hit market. So in terms of during our discussion, we just mentioned also that is the electric car suitable for Malaysia ASEAN, which is myself, I own a car as well. So how are we able to solve the humidity the corrosion of the car in vehicle in Malaysia? So I think Proton also looking to that solution as well, working with partners and also conjunction with TM. Let's look forward that we solve the piece of puzzle and make a new brand again and make a big achieve for the Protons in Malaysia.
Great, interesting. So we're coming up to the end of the session, but before that, I guess moving some parting words from Cik Yusri and Cik Hazrin, what would be your future important one wish list that you wanted to do for Proton as an organization and as a national, automotive company? What would be the wish list that you wanted also to give out to the community and people, rakyat Malaysia?
I think technology advancement will never stop. And we would like to see more and more people able to use Proton cars with more and more advanced technologies in it. Then you will see what kind of advancement that people will enjoy in the Proton cars. That's my wish.
Thank you, Cik Sri.
Thank you.
Mazlan,
For me, I think first thing first, more importantly is Proton basically spearhead this mobility to the people of Malaysia. With the product that we produced back in 1985, we changed the landscape of the mobility. More people are able to move around with the proper products. But for me, the more important thing is like technology will continue to enhance or continue to advance. But we, including myself, we have to continue to go this special process that I always tell to myself as well as to other people is the process of learn, unlearn, and relearn. So if you stop that process, so you are not able to adhere or not able to basically capture or grasp the technologies that are coming. You can imagine the lifestyle of the next generation's vehicle, the mobility of the future. If you are not able to go through this process of learn, unlearn, and relearn, so you will be you are not able to. I mean, the gaps will be big, and the people will not be able to enjoy the quality of life in future.
Thank you, Jazrin. Maybe Eng, a few last words.
Well, we'll think it's getting smarter and intelligent also. My future car that I wish is they will have an AI inside the car to tell you that, first of all, weather forecast, integrated welcoming to Proton. Would like to guide you through your next destination with the traffic forecast integrated with the weather forecast as well. So This artificial intelligence today will connect it direct to PROTON as one of the central hub. So all vehicles under the PROTON is all connecting, talking to each other. So this is it looks futuristic, but I would say that it can be deliverable. It's upcoming new brand of the model with PROTON. That's which is a Malaysian myself. That's my wish list for PROTON.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I think that's about it that we have time with you. I think a lot of learnings that we have listened from Cik Yusri, Cik Azrin, also Ang, that I think the important thing is you have a strategy. You need to also to have a strong partnership ecosystem.
Yep.
You need to believe in technology and innovation because that will bring you forward. That will bring you competitive edge in the market. And I think with the technology and digital infrastructure that we have, we need to work together, realize those dreams and strategy for any organization. Then at TM, we always believe that we are the technology enabler. We wanted to work with industrial players like PROTON and other automotive industry out there. Then we believe that we can also be the champion of the world. So with that, thank you again, Cik Yusri, Hazrin, and also Eng.
Thank you.
Stay safe at home. I wish you a productive day ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was an amazing sharing. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We have heard from the tech experts, the banks, and the implementers, PROTON. Now let's hear from TM1, Nazman Faris bin Muhammad Noor from Smart Manufacturing Solution and Products. He will take you through the showcase of ROEE. Please welcome Nazman.
Hello. Today, I'm going to introduce the TM1 Smart Manufacturing OEE and Predictive Maintenance Solution. In a large manufacturing environment, various typical problems are the disrupted availability of machines or production lines causing downtime, inadequate efficiency of processes, employees or machines, product quality issues and defects. To solve this, we need to be aware of them and be able to measure them. This is why we need the Overall Equipment Effectiveness or OEE. OEE measures the manufacturing productivity at real time. So, what kind of losses are encountered in the manufacturing processes? Equipment failure, setup and adjustments, idling and minor stops, reduced performance, product defects, and reduced output. Do you want to know your OEE index and be able to calculate them in real time? Or to maintain competitive prices while increasing your profits? Do you also wish to minimize losses? It's possible now with the TM1 Smart Manufacturing OEE solution. Ladies and gentlemen, currently, data for OEE are collected and monitored manually. The operation of machines and employees is usually analyzed by humans. The data is recorded in analog manner on paper, then transferred to software for further analysis. This is labor-intensive and prone to human error. By using industrial IoT sensors and data integration, data from machines are collected on an ongoing basis. It is used to determine the current OEE value, which can be visualized on TM1 Smart Manufacturing OEE application. This solution can be applied on multiple machines or production lines. The key functions of TM1 Smart Manufacturing OEE application are: data are available online, hosted on our TM1 Cloud Alpha, accessible anytime, anywhere. An overview of machines or production line status. Here, machines can be arranged individually or according to their production lines. In this example, we use a sample semiconductor production environment with multiple machines and production lines. Detailed machine information and status can also be drilled down by clicking on the individual machines. The application provides detailed scheduled and preventive maintenance. We can view OEE index statistics in real time or historically. Detailed data can be viewed by clicking individual OEE components. Availability, performance, and quality. OEE trends for overall production lines or for an individual machine can be shown graphically. Graph and data can be printed or exported to CSV, Excel, or PDF format. It also provides customized reporting, for example, machine alarms and technician competencies. It also provides other user management, asset management, and process functions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see the second part of the solution, the predictive maintenance application. It is a decision support tool made for maintenance team, utilizing detection, diagnostic, and prognostic insights with simplified user interface. The maintenance team generally consists of maintenance manager, maintenance technician, and machine expert. The maintenance manager will assign and dispatch resource to work events, while the maintenance technician will carry out the work events, while the machine expert will analyze and diagnose machine behavior. Let's go through these three roles and see how they are interconnected within the predictive maintenance application. The maintenance manager, who is in charge of a certain number of assets, wants to see the asset which require an attention. Here, we have data which form part of the three factories at the top of the hierarchy. If you look at the three sample factories, we have automotive, heavy industry, and FMCG, or fast-moving consumer goods. These are sample types of industrial environments. We can drill down to the factory level to get to individual areas of lines and then to individual assets. It's quite easy for maintenance manager to navigate to the individual assets that is applicable to them through the hierarchy. Now, if you look at the top of the hierarchy, the maintenance manager will be presented with all the assets that require attention. We present this asset through case generation, where a case is automatically generated when the attention score of an asset rises above a specified level. This is the list of assets that require attention in order of severity. If you look at an open case, we'll see the attention index graph. Now, attention index is a level of concern. If your attention index is normal or low, then there's no need of concern. But if it is a medium or high, then you might need immediate escalation. There are icons on top of the attention index graph which show you automatically generated cases, anomaly detection, trend detection, prognostic insight, and work events that tag on timeline. Now, if a manager decides that the asset needs to be fixed, the maintenance technician will need to look into it. By clicking on the asset link, the technician will go into the details of the asset for further information. The first thing that will be of interest to the maintenance technician is the timeline, which outlines the events of the asset. There is an option to filter these events to only see alerts, cases, insights, notes, work events, and trends. The maintenance technician could also go to the attention index graph and select a more recent time which corresponds to a more recent events on this asset. Evidence of anomalies are indicated by the highlighted section on the condition indicator timeline graph. The maintenance technician would use this to better direct their focus to the work, whereas a machine expert will be more interested in the condition indicators which have been defined for this asset. In this case, these are related to vibration and will be well known by machine expert who will use to carry out maintenance best practice. Ladies and gentlemen, the prognostic forecast would be of the interest of the maintenance manager, the maintenance technician, and also the maintenance expert. The prognostic forecast either provides indication of good health or the likely need for intervention on this asset within a given time range. I am sharing some real-world examples of advance warning. First, this measures the current of the motor, and we were able to give approximately 1 month advance warning before the maintenance on the asset. And in another example, we have the gearbox. It measures and monitors the disturbances, allowing 3 months advance warning before an action on the asset. To know more about TM1 OEE, please click on the button in front of you and we'll be in touch with you soon. Thank you for your time, and I hope you found the demonstration on OEE and predictive maintenance useful to your organization. Think big, start small, scale quickly with TM1 Smart Manufacturing Solutions.
Thanks, Nazman, for the walkthrough on OEE. All right, we'll now have Mazlan and Eng to get some of your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, just in case we cannot take all your questions now, please view our thank you note, which will be emailed to you, where all your questions will be answered by our experts.
Thanks, Ling. Welcome back. So, well, Eng, here's our show now, the end of the show, to take
Yes.
up some of the questions.
Yep.
So be rest assured, like Lin just mentioned just now, if you have more questions that we cannot take it now, we can always come back and then reply to your question and email back to you. So we have a couple of questions here from the audience. Let me take the first one, Eng.
Yep.
So the question goes, in the light of always remaining agile for the next normal, which is we are currently now facing it, what will be the key factors that leaders must address to move forward securely? I think this is a good question. I guess there's a few elements or things that we've been discussing since this morning that you can take upon or take some ideas from those discussions. First is basically you have to understand the underlying KPI or the business objective that your organization, your company wanted to achieve. Of course, in the current situation where we can't even predict what's going to happen next year or even next week. So you have to understand how to be more agile, understanding areas that you can fix things faster. Make solution faster and more agile to address those market competitiveness. So I guess to understand what kind of benefits or growth strategy is very important for your organization. You need to underline those criteria first before even understanding or identifying the right tools, the right solution, or the right things they wanted to embark on. So that's the first thing. Understand your KPI, underlying your business objective. And then the next part is to understand also how you can leverage on existing business practices or best business practices that you can get from your subject matter expert or things that you have done previously. Perhaps you already have that foundation or the formula to move forward. It's just a matter of to accelerate those things to take bigger steps for you to realize those business objectives that you have underlying just now. And the third part is the key components that you already have in your organization. It's your people, the processes, and also the technology. And as a partner, TM and Huawei, we can always come from the technology standpoint where we can bring the best of the breed or the best solutions in the world to help your organization to achieve whatever business objective that you have stated just now. And then to move forward in this agile or new normal, you have to also understand what will be the new things that you have to tackle for address in terms of the way you do things, the way you understand the new opportunity, the way you manage all the risks or challenges that you are facing today, and also how you can maximize in terms of the potential. We are living in a digital world. We know that every aspect of your supply chain now become digital supply chain, and also the stakeholders that are involved in your business also become more agile or more digital native in a way. So we have to capitalize all these opportunities, advances in the technology, and also things that you can do better, faster, and more quality. So with the solutions that we have, it's no matter what we're going to give you the solution or the tools, it's coming back to how you're going to start your journey. So we have discussed about all the use cases, the imperative of how you can embark on digital transformation with the case study that PROTON has shared with us, and the tools that you can pre-diagnose or diagnose the way forward. So this will give you some factors or areas that you can implement the solution or the digital transformation for manufacturing industry and also under other industry in this new normal. So the next question, perhaps, Eng, you wanted to take up this one?
Okay, the second question is, give all the buzz of emerging technologies such as AI, IoT, etc. What would you be advised on the optimal way to adopt the technology given the pressure on the resources and the current working style? Okay, when it comes to this topic, AI is actually going across all industry. It doesn't only just big data. No. So I think we also look into AI for certain production that can be taken off due to this pandemic.
Yeah.
A lot of resources was being restricted, and we have foreign workers also limitations. And also we also look into how we can able to speed up and also increase the quality of the product. So there are some cases they use AI and to do, example, very simple thing, ingredient sortings, that's one. And then some of these, they are using AI for chatbots. So chatbot, I give an example. We have partners in Malaysia, it's a Malaysian-made product. They're using this AI today that can able to help the industry needs, especially for the frontliner and also for the after sales. Because due to the resources limitation and need to sustain the business ongoing online, AI actually took up a lot of load for that in order to have a stickiness of communication with the consumer and also the user. That's one. But on the AI for the manufacturing, basically is to increase the efficiency, first of all, energy saving, product security, quality control. And this is also to reduce down the resources of people combining a place on the production line, but whereby now they have alternative working space now, limited due to MCO. They partially use AI to do some analytic, especially for image recognitions. So they're using the image recognitions to actually sort out certain objects that is not supposed to be placed on the component on top of the boards, things like that. So that is actually one of the AI part. But the advice for the industry is, we first of all look into, we need data, because without data, AI doesn't really work well. Why? As long as you can able to quantify the performance, quantify the manufacturing line through the OEE tools that TM1 is having now with the partners. With the data today, we can able to inject in the information and the knowledge that able to help the user or the manufacturer to optimize the process. That's a very important thing through the AI platform. As the AI of today, they not only using for image, but they also have sound AI analytics, image analytics, object analytics, and also vibrations. So these are the vibration things that, for example, like PROTON, we want to do some tuning of the engine, whether how was the vibration, the impact inside the car. Actually, the AI can able to help you to pinpoint where the location is. So moving forward, I think IoT part of a very important role is because all these sensors is all connected to the IoT and the feedback into the platform and help the user or the researcher to analyze it, and through the AI, they're able to help them to give a better proposal of moving forward, how to do the improvement plan on that. What would you be the most critical factor in achieving a success step-by-step transformation in the manufacturing? Example, how can manufacturer be helped to understand the different technology? So this success of step-by-step, the transformation actually it's a journey. Okay, they are not just a click and then you can change everything that what you want and you plan for.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is, first of all, to understand the business of nature of your own, and then what will be the trouble that you are facing and what are the wish lists that you want. So through some of the technology can able to support, for example, OEE, can able to understand where you should able to start to diagnose your challenges moving forwards. So because of that, different manufacturing, they also have their different challenges, mainly actually from the logistics, the supply chains, and also for the last mile of delivery. Some technology able to track your assets of your goods to the last mile until the consumer is consumed. That is actually able to understand how was your market segment demarcations, where are the area most of the people purchase your products. That is one of the transformation that you want to know about your manufacturing of your products. So some example cases like tissues, tissue papers. So there are various brands in the market, but who are these people and where are they using the most? And then how often they use actually this kind of asset tagging, you can be able to put into the box as a tagging to show that how many pieces was being used, consumed. So from your production line, you will know that how people react on your products moving forward. So what kind of quality you want on that kind of product you want to generate for this specific segment. And then on top of that, the most critical factor on this transformation is people. Is to come back to the people and also the resources. Transformation with element of AI, it doesn't really seek to replace the human resources part. Mainly is to help you to simplify the process, make it secure, and with the AI taking over partially of the resources of the human, you can actually uplift the remaining people, workers, on their knowledge onto other area to be improved. For example, some process is actually daily, 9 to 5. You're sitting on the desk doing the same thing. But this thing actually you'll be bored one day. So AI comes in to help you to simplify the process and help you to enhance in the speed so that you'll have more time to look into things is more innovations for your goods and your product and design as well. I mean, that's the most critical part, and do not worry that AI do not take over the human jobs. It's not going to replace the human job, and human is still needed. AI basically to ease the mistakes of the human mistake that's been made daily and make it optimized. I mean, that's my advice for the factors.
Okay. I think when we talk about the step-by-step transformation of manufacturing, there will be a platform, I guess, to run those, digital transformation. So at TM1, we have Cloud Alpha Edge to host those solutions that you can always come back and then enhance further without worrying so much on configuring the steps again and again. So I guess that's a part of the bit and parcel whereby you can employ the most advanced smart manufacturing journey and solutions utilizing cloud infrastructure. Let me take the second question. So the question goes like this: what examples or case studies can you share of how other companies are getting the three core elements in digital transformation? That is process, people, and technology. Okay, I guess we have been discussing this quite lengthy in our panel discussion, the way that we discuss about how organization can start putting all the growth strategies, expand those areas that they can improve, and then utilizing the resources that they have, which cover these three elements: process, people, and technology. So I can relate to one of the company or customer that we work with them to identify and understand how we can help them to optimize their resources, to improve in terms of the turnaround time to produce new products, to improve productivity and also the quality, and also to do some sort of predictive maintenance on their operation line or machines that they are using. So this company has been putting few sensors that will detect humidity, because they are in a business to produce biscuits and confectionery.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So there's a very sensitive to moisture, things like change of temperature, and the conveyor belts also they need to measure in terms of the speed and whatnot. So we put those practical solution where involve all the new processes. We have to also train and then reskill the people or the manpower that they are having currently to utilize those automation practices. And definitely the technology that we bring in give them more visibility in terms of how they can see the operations, they can start understanding where they can do the proper predictive maintenance of the machines. And at the end of the day, the bottom line objective that they are getting out of this technology transformation is higher productivity, better quality of products, and they can start addressing those demands from the market and also suppliers. So I guess there's a few examples also that we can also relate to the utilization of your internal resources that involve process, people, and technology. Do you want to add something based on your own case study that you have done with your customer?
Yeah, we have few cases happening in Malaysia itself. Is we call it made in Malaysia.
Okay.
It's a product of Malaysia. They're actually on 3 areas. Okay, first of all is one of the company, they're actually making spice. They are well-known spice. It's a certified halal. So they actually start out from sorting chili by using human to sort the best chili out. Okay. So eventually they are non-IT based, totally non-IT. They don't know about technology, but they wanted to transform to make things even efficient. So they do not want to hire additional staff because they have another factory is going to be expanded. So because of the overhead was being controlled, but the productivity still need to be increased and maintained, and the quality as well. So they start to use object recognition using AI to do chili selections. That is one of the very success case. And on top of that, they also have their own product. Eventually, they make their own sensors in order to monitor the boiler, the heater, and also the grinding process of the powder, how fine it is through AI.
Okay.
So that is actually able to quantify how fine is the powder they can able to grind and then to pack. And then every single packing is all being digitized by their digital weighing scale. So the whole entire process was being monitored well. Okay, that is one of it. The second case is actually on the agriculture. It's one of the project in Johor. It's a cow farm. Actually, they breed cows, and then also for meat and milk as well. They also get cubs as well. Okay. So they have an issue of planting the grass because the land is big, is wide, but somehow they have problem on the grass that grow is different speeds. One area is the grass is growing very tall, the other side is actually doesn't really able to grow grass. So they use technology to enable to study what are the problems with the soil that causing the other side of the grass is not growing as well. Eventually it's due to there are not enough water supply to the hill. So eventually they use technology to water the entire farm so that the grass can grow at the same speed on the other side as well. Okay. The other one, technology is about, if you heard about haga wood. Haga wood is one kind of rare species that is available in Malaysia. It have a kind of aroma when you burn the wood. So
the most expensive fuels, I guess.
Very expensive. Yes, very expensive. This is also a Malaysian-made product. So eventually, they are looking into how they're able to manage people theft by cutting down the tree because it's very expensive a tree, and this tree can last like more than 130 years. So because of that, we implemented something called tree ID. It's a tag ID. So every single tree actually there's a birth cert. So every single tree they have a DNA of the tree, age of the tree, and the growth of the tree. And on top of this whole entire farm, they are actually organically grow, no fertilizer. So with this tree today, they are not only just harvesting the wood itself, they're actually transform using technology as an investment for public as well. So like for myself, I can actually own a tree rather than putting the money in the bank. Okay. So when I own a tree, I buy a tree, the tree actually sitting on the particular area, so I know which is the tree is mine. So that's the tree, every tree comes with the identity. So now they can use the tree to make tea leaves. They have tea as well today. So because of this technology and are so unique and the price is very expensive, technology comes in to help them that how they can able to ensure their product do not have a replication outside of Malaysia. So we implemented one of the technology called blockchain. So every single packing of the tea that they manufacture today, they come with the blockchain. So every consumed tea packet today, when you scan, you know that this tea is from which tree, when was produced, and when it's consumed, and where are this tea supposed to be exported. Which means today, if there's this tea packaging F30 packs, there are 1 carton is going to ship to Indonesia. You were never able to get this tea in China.
Okay. Eng, I think that's the only time that we have to answer a few questions from the audience.
Yep.
We will answer the rest of the question, and please check your email in the thank you note. You will get those questions answered. I guess that will wrap up our session today.
Yep.
Remember, you have to start it now. Don't wait until the disruption coming your way. So do embrace digital transformation. Understand how you can integrate those processes, people, technology, and plus also the ecosystem and policy like available financing aids, grants that you can also apply for to start embarking on digital journey. So I guess thank you very much, Eng, for being with me.
Thank you, Mazlan.
And then stay tuned, stay safe. We will meet you again in the next event. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the TM1 Smart Manufacturing Circuit 2020. We would like to remind you to take this opportunity in understanding your business readiness in the digitalization maturity. Click on the TM1 Alpha H IDC UDX assessment at the bottom of your screen. The UDX is worth $5,000 and we are giving out absolutely free for a short time only. Till then, take care and stay safe.